6 months after, and they are still working on things. And you know, it's just going to take a long time to fix this. Some people estimate 2 years. This is a great example of what you find in the forests themselves. I mean, this is not, it's probably owned by somebody, but is not something that they will readily clean up. But this debris, when it's dry out, is like a tinderbox. It will catch fire if it's dried or hit by lightning or something, and that's not good because that would be a catastrophic problem in the mountains on top of what already happened with the hurricane. So my sister and I basically drove around and were kind of catching up visually about what had happened. We were away for a couple of months. There are several of these debris holding places where they are storing massive amounts of wood and limbs, and they're mulching them. There's a big pile of mulch right there, but that is going to go on for a long time. Now, this is a campground that they are rebuilding, which is pretty amazing because it was completely wiped out. Now, this is a close-up of some of the debris, and I'd say that's probably 20 feet high. Some of this was already mulched. You can see in the forefront of the image. They have this all fenced off with like an 8-foot high fence. But you can still see, I know it's a mixture of dirt and stone and, well, trees. Predominantly not trash anymore, predominantly logs. Huge, what do you call this, disposal and, I don't know what they're doing, what they call it, repurposing, I don't know. These trucks coming in are big. Here comes another one. As far as I know, our present government is paying the counties to service and clean things up, especially on the roads. Like I said, I don't think they're doing it off-road, which is a mess. I'll show you some photographs of that next. But these are all from roadside debris that people have put on the side of the road that the county is picking up, and the government is taking care of that. Here's another example of how these trees were just decimated on the side of the road and up in the hills. And you can see they're still doing work on the sides of the road. This is 5 months after the storm. Now, if they'd used some of this mesh stuff, well, if they hadn't used this mesh stuff, it's a steel mesh that's holding this side of the road intact. I can't even imagine how catastrophic. This road would have been closed for sure had they not put this up there. And they did this about a year before the storm occurred. It's all steel and it's bolted or rebarred, connected to the land itself, and it held it into place. So back to looking at just pictures of the land on the side of the road, you can see just how many trees were knocked over. And honestly, I don't know how many people are really going to clean this up if it's on their property. It's a monumental job. Now, I wanted to show a picture of this barn which stood, which I thought was pretty amazing. And I tried to capture several structures that were half there because the water just pushed half of it away and left the other half there. I couldn't find any, but take my word for it, there's hundreds of them left like that. Another thing I noticed was how the rivers have changed. The course of the river, the water flow has gone, and right now it could be in some places just like a couple of feet wide, where it was not only very deep but extremely wide. And also stones, they're just filled with a huge amount of stones at the river's edge. And even still, The pastures are still being utilized, even with trees down. The people just haven't had the time or inclination to pick things up on their land because they're just overwhelmed by, even still 5 months later, very overwhelmed by the destruction that occurred from this hurricane. Hey, Virginia and I finished the deck, put up those poles that fell over, but we finished the deck. Well, got to come back, fill some holes, put some stones up in here so it drains, maybe a little step, and paint it. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching.